All right, we're talking racing, and we're going to review the last three Kentucky Derby prep races: the Tampa Bay Derby, which was run today, and the San Felipe Stakes, which was run last week, and the Fountain of Youth, run last week. We'll start with today's Tampa Bay Derby. It was won on the front end by Owen Almighty, and you see here 23.84 first quarter, 48.16 half. He was able to make the lead through no pressure, and it was the difference. You see in the Sam Davis, he had to go over a full second faster to the quarter, almost 2 full seconds faster to the half. So he got to go really slow early today. And if you look at the pace projector going into today's Tampa Bay Derby, you can see they did project a fast pace. But the interesting thing here is the number 4 horse, Brodeur, who was a long shot, was expected to make the lead. Owen Almighty was expected to sit inside of him second, and Patch Adams was expected to sit outside of him third. That handicapping assessment is based on pace figures these horses have run in previous races. However, sometimes you got to look at the jockeys. And the number 4 was ridden by Jose Ortiz. The number 1, Owen Almighty, was ridden by his brother, Irad Ortiz. We've seen enough over the years where those two guys are not going to hook up on speed. One's going to go, one's going to rate. There's not going to be a head-to-head duel. And then you got a French jockey, Florent Giroux, on the 7. I mean, you got the 3 speeds in the race. You got the 2 brothers and a Frenchie. And then you handicap the jockeys. You just know there that it's not going to be a hot and contested pace. And it wasn't. All right, let's get to the replay. Owen Almighty is on the rail. Number 1, you're going to see he's going to break sharp, and Irad's going to go. The expected pace setter, Brodeur, really his only chance in this race was to go to the lead. You're going to see him be rated. Jose Ortiz is going to do a good job, keeping him off the 1 where they're not head and head early. Creates a very, very slow first quarter for this caliber of horse. With that said, let's watch the race.
Yeah, the race is on in the Lamb Home South Tampa Bay Derby. Got away to a good start. Owen Almighty to the inside, Brodeur flashing good early speed, and Patch Adams wants to join the party up on the outside. It's Brodeur and Owen Almighty, they're 1-2. Patch Adams to the outside, away third. Naughty Rascal, Chancer McPatrick, they're 4th and 5th. Just in behind them, Filoso had to tap on the brakes momentarily from that 6th position, and Hill Road takes up his spot at the back of affairs early on as Owen Almighty and Irad Ortiz Jr. going to cut the corner now a length in front. In the 2nd spot goes Brodeur. Chancer McPatrick stays toward the inside. Patch Adams right to that one's outside. They're 3rd and 4th. At about 3 off the leaders, they move on to the back stretch. Naughty Rascal. Patch Adams looked like he maybe got out a little bit there. Lost a spot to Naughty Rascals. Now back 5th. 23 and 4 was the opening quarter mile time for Owen Almighty, who takes him up the back stretch. Some mild pressure from Brodeur. Right to that one's outside. They're length in front of Chancer McPatrick. Patch Adams now back in gear up on the outside of Naughty Rascal. They're together in 4th and 5th. The 2 at the back, Hill Road and Filoso. 48 seconds flat for the opening half mile. Owen Almighty, Irad Ortiz Jr., Brodeur, Jose Ortiz, brothers at war past the 3/8 pole. They're a length and a half in front of Chancer McPatrick, who's biding his time toward the inside. Filoso starting to launch up on the outside of Patch Adams. They're racing together out wide. Chancer McPatrick going to need a seam. Owen Almighty brings him around to the top of the stretch. Brodeur, Patch Adams 3 wide. Filoso on the far outside. Chancer McPatrick still waiting for that seam to arrive as Owen Almighty turns him in. Owen Almighty to the 8th pole, 2 lengths in front of Chancer McPatrick, who tries to come after that one, but Owen Almighty's 3 lengths in front. Chancer McPatrick, a final 16th. Hill Road up the inside. It's Owen Almighty in front. Owen Almighty by 4. Owen, the all-powerful Owen Almighty, wins the Tampa Bay Derby. Chancer McPatrick was 2nd, 3rd, went to Hill Road. Patch Adams 4th.
All right, so that was the Tampa Bay Derby there. It was all about Owen Almighty breaking good, being aggressively sent. Whereas the other brother, used rating tactics and floated the 7 out into the first turn. The 2 speeds never hooked up. Things really went Owen Almighty's way in this race. I do not like him going forward as a Derby prospect for sure, but his trainer's already talking about the Pate Mile instead. We'll see if they stick with that plan. The horse the one horse out of this race that is going to be an interesting horse to follow, and he's a horse that we're going to take a shot with later on, is Hill Road. Now, Hill Road finished third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where it was a similar nonsense as this, where it was two Baffert horses backing down the pace and running 1-2 without hooking up. This Hill Road got no pace in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and plugged in third. He got no pace today, plugged in third. And we'll take a look at his gallop out. I mean, he had a great gallop out. All right, so here's the gallop out of the Tampa Derby. You see Owen Almighty, the winner, Chancer McPatrick second. And watch Hill Road on the gallop out here, the three.
Was second, third went to Hill Road, Patch Adams fourth.
He just gallops out way in front of the field there. And his dam was a 1.25 mile horse in Argentina. He's out of a Lemon Drop Kid mare, Lemon Drop Kid, a Belmont Stakes winner. So the Hill Road is the one horse that we're interested in out of this race going forward. We want him going longer distances and where he gets a true pace, where they're up there fighting on the front end. I think I think he'll really step forward and surprise some people when that happens. So that was the Tampa Bay Derby. Now we're going to get on. So that was the Tampa Bay Derby. Now we're going to take a look at some prep races that I think are going to have much more significance. All right, now we're on to the Fountain of Youth. It was run last week at Gulfstream, and it was won from last to first by the Belmont-trained, Godolphin-owned Sovereignty, a son of Into Mischief out of a Bernardini mare. You can see Sovereignty hadn't run since October 27th, so he was laid up over 4 months coming into the Fountain of Youth, and he was not training strong going into this race. Now, I've not followed Sovereignty in the morning before, but he was getting outworked by a maiden who made its debut earlier on this card and run terrible. You see this Belmont maiden here. Its name is Chillax. It debuted on the Fountain of Youth undercard and ran dead last, beaten 24 lengths. This horse was outworking Sovereignty going into the Fountain of Youth. We'll watch the work. All right, so you see here, Chillax is on the inside, Sovereignty is on the outside. And the only reason I'm going through this whole process of making you watch this work here is because I think it might be key going forward. Because if Sovereignty starts, training much stronger going into the Derby, like if you see him, a week or two before the Derby and he's out working good horses, I mean, that's a sign that Bill Mott's got him much tighter and that he's probably going to run a lot better than he was set up to run here. So we'll watch this work. In this work, Sovereignty never gets by Chillax. Chillax always is going a little better of the two. Now, Sovereignty just might not be a good workhorse. Maybe Chillax is like some morning glory. Maybe you should bet Chillax when he runs next time. He did kind of hit the gate at the break, and mod horses usually don't run well in their debut. But this work is only telling, I think, is a future reference in case Sovereignty starts working much better going into future races. So you see the riders pushing and shoving on Sovereignty here, and this maiden that run dead last is just, going easy, wins this workout. Sovereignty has to be hard ridden. He actually got a crack of the whip there. I mean, just to get on even terms. And then once he gets on even terms, Chillax is going to kick away from him pretty good. So, all right, here's the Fountain of Youth. Sovereignty is number 2. And you're going to watch the 6 and the 7. The 6 is a Todd Pletcher horse. The 7 is Safi Joseph horse. They're going to be the 2 speeds. They're going to hook up pretty good and battle pretty hard, but they're going to end up finishing 2nd and 3rd. Sovereignty is the only horse from off the pace who does anything. So with that said, we'll watch it.
They're off.
in the Fountain of Youth Stakes. From the middle, River Thames bounces out very well, but he'll be challenged early by Neo Equos, and these two put on some speed in the run to the first turn. They've opened 2 on Gate to Wire, who's down at the rail in third. Back from the outside, Keep It Easy is now fourth, settling in second last, Sovereignty, and Burnham Square takes residence at the back of the field. He's about 6 lengths off the speed of Neo Equos. Neo Equos is up and around River Thames, and he clears now to lead by 1.5 lengths. Going to plan B is Velasquez on River Thames. He'll angle to the outside of the new leader with Gate to Wire at Chile third. 2 back to Keep It Easy. He's now fourth, then Sovereignty and Burnham Square. 23 seconds flat for the opening quarter. They have less than 5 furlongs to go. On the inside, Neo Equos leads by 0.5 length. Latched onto him second is River Thames, 1.5 lengths better than Gate to Wire in third. Burnham Square guided to the clear by Zayas. He's on a mid-race move with Keep It Easy between horses, and Sovereignty has to keep up at the back of the field. The half mile was 47 seconds flat. They go to the first finish line and swing to the far turn. Neo Equos at a big price has the lead to 0.5 length. River Thames is second. These two have gone 6 ahead of Burnham Square, who just went by Gate to Wire to take third. Keep It Easy is between horses, and Sovereignty tries to motivate himself. He's underway now in the blue colors. He's within 8 lengths of the lead through 3 quarters in 1:10.3. Neo Equos stretching out River Thames. Sovereignty warming to the task for Alvarado. He's on the far outside into third. Gate to Wire finds his best stride. Burnham Square's bid is stalled as River Thames has made a clear lead. Off the turn and the stretch drive in the Fountain of Youth, and River Thames, he has the lead by 2 with a 16th to go. Sovereignty begins to get on track, but time is ticking away. River Thames almost there. Sovereignty gonna dive at him late. Here comes Sovereignty! He got him too, did Sovereignty. He went from last to first to win under Junior Alvarado for Godolphin and Bill Mott, the Fountain of Youth.
All right, so that was Sovereignty winning the Fountain of Youth. I don't know why I was calling him. I think I was calling him something like Sovereignty or something before. Sovereignty. Sorry about that. That's my General McLean education for you there. But no, you see the 6 and the 7 are hooked up. I mean, they've broken away from the pack early. They put pressure on each other. River Thames had to let the Saffie Joseph horse go and come to his outside. I mean, they didn't take it easy on each other up front, and they still held on, to finish second and third. Sovereignty from the back here circles him, wins the race. He's the horse that we want out of this race only if he is training much better going in, to his subsequent races. We're going to pay attention to how he's training in the morning. If he's just a bad workhorse, he's just a bad workhorse. But if like the light bulb comes on and he starts, he starts outworking good horses or something, I think that's a sign that Bill Mott's really put the screws to him and has him tight. And you might see Sovereignty open to more improvement. Might have been, Bill Mott. He has a way of, with first-time starters, second-time starters, and with layoffs. Remember Royal Delta's first race at 3. He had her way short. So Sovereignty is the one that we're following out of this race, but we want to see more from him in the morning. Yeah, so Sovereignty is the one that we are going to follow out of this race, but we're hopeful that we see more from him in the morning, and that would lead us to believe that he's open to much further improvement. Bill Mott will have him tighter. Maybe he's just a bad workhorse. Who knows? But this is one horse where we will be paying attention to his future workouts. And finally, we've saved the best for last. Journalism. A son of Curlin, out of an Uncle Mo mare. Bernardini's the sire of the second dam. And this horse just exploded in the San Felipe. There was only a 5-horse field in the San Felipe, and trainer Bob Baffert had 60% of the field. He had 3 of the 5 horses, and the highly regarded Barnes, he got the Owen Almighty trip in this race. That same trip that we watched Owen Almighty get in the Tampa Bay Derby earlier in this video. This is what Barnes gets because his stablemate Rodriguez was really the only one that could pressure him. Obviously prearranged to let Barnes go to the lead. Rodriguez to sit off and not press, no head-to-head pressure. Journalism just sat in the pocket behind that and exploded through the lane. All right, the 2 Baffert speed horses, the number 2, the number 3. All right, here's the San Felipe, the 2 Baffert speed horses, the number 3 Barnes, the number 4 Rodriguez. There's going to be no head-to-head pressure. There's going to be no hookup. And Journalism, the 2, is just going to sit in the pocket and blow them away.
And they're off in the DK Horse San Felipe Stakes. Journalism broke smoothly, and so did Barnes. Barnes takes the lead after just a few jumps. Rodriguez came away in third, smooth cruising, and Mellencamp is at the back of the field. So Barnes is the quickest, and he makes his way over to the rail, opening up 2 lengths. Rodriguez moves into second. Long shot, smooth cruising, trying to be a part of it. Moves up on the outside of him, trying to keep a little bit of pressure on Barnes, who's doing it easily past the 6 furlong pole. Humberto Rispoli has Journalism in fourth, 3.5 lengths off the pace, and Mellencamp is just outside of him. The tempo is reasonable, and it's Barnes in charge. Has it by just under a length over Rodriguez, heading to the half-mile pole in the DK Horse San Felipe Stakes. Smooth cruising. At the rail, Journalism is 3 lengths off the lead, trying to get a little bit closer now. He's just in front of Mellencamp. Into the 4th turn, it's been all Barnes. He gets a little bit of a nudge and responds. Barnes starts to sprint for home. Stablemate Rodriguez trying to make it interesting in second, and Journalism 4 off the pace in third. They're followed by Smooth Cruisin' and Mellencamp. They're a 1/4 mile from home, and Barnes is widening. Journalism now swings into action on the outside. These are the 2 as they come to the 8th pole. Barnes in front by 3. Journalism chasing with determination, getting closer with every stride. And here comes Journalism right on by Barnes, and it will be Journalism striding away powerfully to win the DK Horse San Felipe Stakes. Barnes had to settle for second. Rodriguez a distant third.
All right, there you see Barnes on the lead. His stablemate outside of him, off his flank. Journalism broke real well in this race and kind of had this. He kind of had the Chancer McPatrick trip. I mean, this was like a run pretty similar to the Tampa Bay Derby, where Barnes got the Owen Almighty trip and Journalism got the Chancer McPatrick trip. But Journalism just blew him away. This is a horse that, a 1.25 miles will not be a problem for him. He has very good tactical speed, so he won't have to rely on pace setups or lucky trips or anything like that. I mean, this is a very serious horse. I'm a fan of Journalism, and I hope you enjoyed our review of these 3 Kentucky Derby prep races.